Noob review.
Hello and welcome to another noobreview.com retro quick look video, and continuing our look at classic Batman games, we are looking at Ubisoft's PS2 title, Batman Vengeance.
Oh wow, a Ubisoft created Batman game this time. So the Batman franchise has done its rounds with developers and publishers then.
That's right, it has. Now this one holds a special place in my heart because it is based on the fantastic Batman animated series.
Right.
The best Batman ever.
Indeed. Hands down. Although, to be honest, while this game does get a lot of things very right, it also gets a few fundamental basics very, very wrong. But we'll hear more about that in a moment.
I'm just enjoying this lovely cutscene. It's gloriously animated and rendered. And there he is, the Dark Knight himself. Looking very stern and angry.
With that jaw.
Indeed. Now the great thing about this, it has all of the voice cast from the animated series, so that includes Kevin Conroy as Batman, Mark Hamill as the Joker.
Brilliant.
Like the Arkham games.
I'm sold.
Exactly, just like the Arkham games.
But I think that was the best thing of the Arkham games, that they actually grabbed the whole cast of voice actors from the
I'm quite
original
disappointed
series.
they didn't have Arnie as Mr. Freeze, though.
Well, you'll be disappointed with this as well. Arnie's not Mr. Freeze in this.
It's the guy that was in the series, which is really good.
There's Luke there adjusting the brightness. Quite a dark game.
It is. It's so dark that at the start of the game they force you to adjust the brightness.
Right.
And I still can't see much of it, to be honest.
Yes, but that's a whole part of the aesthetic of that cartoon. It was kind of just so wonderfully stylized with this kind of retro, kind of noir art style. I'm in love with it, really, completely. It's my favourite TV show ever.
You don't have to sell me on it. It's not my favourite TV show ever, but it's one of the best cartoons ever and one of the best TV series ever.
Yeah, definitely. Now, you can kind of see here the basic gameplay, and you can see it's quite similar to the more recent Arkham games in a way. You're kind of gliding around and jumping over obstacles, navigating your way through the world. It's, apart from Batman runs like he's got crap in his pants.
Yeah, the whole gliding thing has basically been lifted, hasn't it? It even looks like the same animation when he's gliding as well.
Yeah, it's been lifted from a comic book where Batman started first.
But they've got it right, basically, and that's one of the cool things about this. It's very... as I said earlier, they get a lot of things very right, and hopefully not for too long. It won't be too long until we see some of the stuff they get completely wrong. But, you know, I find it hard to be too harsh on this game because it's just got such wonderful production values.
Yeah. Yeah, it does look really nice, actually, I must admit. They've kind of brought the animated universe... They've done a really good job, I must admit. I'm not that big of a fan of the animated series, but this looks really cool. And now we're going to see a bomb blow up.
Yay!
Indeed we are.
Kaboom!
Now, one of the great things about this as well, actually, is rather than being broken up into levels, it's kind of broken up into episodes, each with their own unique title card.
Ah, that's cool.
Yeah, like in the animated series, every episode had their own stylish title card. They had the name of the episode on it.
Yep.
They've done the same thing here, except their title cards just aren't as good. But I appreciate that they're even trying. And each episode has got a different villain in. So the first one has the Joker, the second one has Poison Ivy. I believe the third one has Mr. Freeze.
Not voiced by Arnie, sadly.
No, not voiced by Arnie.
That Joker looks weird.
Yes, this is based on the art style for the last series of it. And actually, there's the title card for this episode.
A girl to die for.
For the last series of this cartoon, they basically redesigned everything and gave them a kind of... a more kind of anime-inspired look, I'd say. And, you know, some of the character designs were really good, and some of them were a bit miss. Like their Joker look, I'm not a big fan of their redesigned Joker. with the black eyes and the smile that's basically could swallow his own chin. Now here we are, we're actually about 10 minutes into the game, and so far all we've done is glide over a box and run around in circles trying to get away from a bomb.
Yeah, not the best start to a game ever.
But it's really well crafted though, and I enjoy that. Now, this is actually the first main mission part. It might look like Gotham's really wide and open, but actually if you deviate off the path then you basically die, which I think is one of the things they get really wrong with this. It's the fact that if you basically don't go where they want you to, and it's very rarely very clear where you've got to go, then you'll die.
Aww.
And it has terrible checkpointing. I could tell you, producing this video, I probably died about 15 times, and you had to start from right at the beginning of the level almost every time.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad kind of modern gaming sort of eradicated that a bit.
Yeah,
I mean, it still rears its ugly head in a couple of games, but for the most part, it's pretty much sorted now.
Yeah, and thank God for it. I know some people like it because of the increased challenge, and I'm sorry guys, but we don't have that much time anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's too frustrating as well, because you don't want to be doing the same bit over and over
No.
again.
It's really annoying.
That's probably a reason why a lot of people don't complete, or never used to complete the games they buy, because they just get fed up of doing the same bit over and over again.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that happens nowadays too. So.
Well, yeah, but I would argue to a slightly lesser extent.
Older games were usually also extremely more long, so that didn't help either.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, this kind of, in terms of combat, it kind of reminds me of another game we've actually looked at previously in a video. The Amazing Spider-Man. It kind of has that vibe to it.
Yes.
Oh,
it's very basic.
The one for PS1?
Yes.
I love that game to bits.
Oh, I don't know anyone, kind of unrelated to this thing, but I just want to say, I don't know anyone that said anything bad about that game, so I'm glad that I'm not on my own.
It was amazingly good, and I love the all the extras it had, but we'll talk about it another time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to come up on one of the other things that kind of bugs me a little bit about this, is that the controls aren't very good. Basically, the left analog stick controls movement, and it's far too easily to just completely go off target.
Right.
Because Batman runs around like he's got shit in his pants.
and you don't. I imagine you don't get any you cannot focus on an enemy.
Yeah. There's
That's
no
right,
lock on or anything like that.
And you cannot adjust the camera with the right analog stick.
Oh, okay.
You have to point in the direction you want to look, and then tap a button, and then it will center the camera. Here we go. It's going to talk about that right now, which is quite disorienting, actually, like that. Or that.
Oh, that is really bad.
And it actually makes solving some of these platforming puzzles really much harder than they need to be.
Yeah.
And by this point, that when I'm playing this section now, I had died about, as I said, probably about 12, maybe 15 times. And I'm not going to lie to you, I finished this video on a downer because I got absolutely fed up of dying around the same spot over and over again. In fact, I never actually finished this game because in one of the last levels, there's a platforming puzzle where you have to land on these floating platforms that are in some toxic sludge. And the controls are so bad. That was as broad as a barn, and I couldn't land on it properly. Basically, that happens when you've got to land on this little tiny platform as well. I tried landing on it, but I'd always overshoot the mark, or I wouldn't quite make it. No matter how hard I tried, I would just constantly fall in the toxic sludge. And in the end, I just said, you know what? As much as I want to like this game, it's not that good.
Oh my god, those camera changes are a bit confusing.
So yeah, I've basically given up on trying to solve this platforming puzzle because I can't actually see where I'm supposed to be going. And the number of times where I inadvertently glided to my death was just too frustrating at the time because it'd been a long day, recorded quite a lot of videos. So we're going to drop dead in a moment. But at least you get to see the beautiful Gotham City that they've designed here. It's just a shame you can't interact with it. And the Joker's men have Mary, and the mystery remains unsolved.
Thank you for playing. Presented by
Noob Review.